You know, in the wild, in the ruthless game of life, there's really one rule that matters more than any other. You either adapt or you disappear. Today, we're going to dive into what that really means, the ultimate guide to survival, and how living things manage to pull off the incredible feat of just staying alive in a world that's always throwing challenges at them.
And to really get our heads around this, we're going to start with one of the most epic journeys on the entire planet. And I mean, forget what you think of as travel. This is no vacation. This is a high-stakes, life-or-death mission.
So, let me introduce you to the steppe eagle. This incredible bird is an absolute master of long-distance flight. Every single year, it undertakes this grueling migration that literally spans continents.
Which, of course, begs the question, why? I mean, why would any creature put itself through that, traveling thousands of brutal miles year in and year out? What on earth could possibly be worth that kind of effort?
Well, the short answer is everything. This journey isn't for sightseeing. It's driven by the most basic needs you can imagine. They're searching for food, they need a safe place for the next generation to be born, and at the end of the day, it's about the very survival of their species.
So you see, the eagle's epic journey isn't just some random trip. It is a brilliant, living example of a core biological concept. You could even call it the real secret to survival.
And that secret, it's called adaptation. It's basically the process that gives a living thing the tools it needs to survive, to thrive in the specific environment it calls home. To put it simply, it's all about fitting in so you can stay alive.
But here's the thing, adaptation isn't just one single magic trick. It's much more like a survival toolkit, right? With a whole bunch of different tools for different jobs. And this toolkit, it really comes in two main flavors. So on one side, you've got structural adaptation. This is a physical change to an organism's body, its actual structure. And on the other side, you've got behavioral adaptation. That's all about a change in what an organism does.
Let's go right back to our eagle, because it's a perfect example of this. You see its razor-sharp eyesight and that powerful beak? Those are physical parts of its body. They're structural adaptations. But its incredible migration, well, that's an action it takes, a behavior. It's a classic behavioral adaptation. See the difference?
And honestly, you can see structural adaptations everywhere in nature. Think about the sharp thorns on a rose bush that keep animals from eating it, or the super thick fur on a polar bear that helps it survive in the freezing cold. These are physical features, literally built for survival. Okay, so that makes you wonder, where do these amazing adaptations even come from? Well, to figure that out, we've got to take a look at what you might call nature's blueprint for life. Take a look at this. This is a Dorcas gazelle with its young. Now, just like you and me, this little gazelle inherits traits directly from its parents, and those inherited traits are really the starting point for every adaptation.
The survival of any living thing is really a story of two massive forces working together. First, you've got genetic factors. That's the internal blueprint, the stuff passed down from your parents. And then you have environmental factors, all the external pressures from the world around you.
Let's look closer at the gazelle's fur. That sandy color? That wasn't a choice. It's a genetic trait passed down through generations. And it just so happens to be perfect camouflage for the desert, helping it hide from predators. That right there is a genetic win.
And this genetic blueprint, it determines so much. Things like the potential size of an animal, how tall a plant could possibly grow, or, just like we saw, the color of its fur. These are basically the cards an organism is dealt at birth.
But, you know, the world always pushes back. The environment plays a huge part. Is there enough water? Is there enough sunlight for a plant to grow? How much space is there to live and find food? These external things decide whether those genetic cards you were dealt lead to a winning hand or not.
So when you put it all together, the genetics, the environment, the adaptations, you start to realize that survival isn't a one-and-done deal. It's a constant, never-ending challenge.
Because it doesn't matter how perfectly adapted you are, at the end of the day, it all boils down to the relentless daily struggle to get these three basic things: food, water, and a safe place to call home, your habitat. But getting those things is never, ever easy. The world is packed with challenges, and the journey for survival is always filled with danger, like a predator lurking, always on the hunt.
Let's just bring it back to our migratory birds for a second. Think about their journey. It is a gauntlet of threats. They have to deal with brutal weather, constant attacks from predators, the very real risk of running out of food and water, and now, more and more, they're losing safe places to even rest. They need every single adaptation in their toolkit just to have a shot.
So, if there's one thing I want you to take away from all this, it's this idea right here.
Adaptation isn't some historical event that happened once and it was over. No, it's a constant, dynamic, ongoing response to a challenging and always changing world. And that leaves us with a really big question, especially for our own time. As our planet changes faster than ever before, which species are going to have the right tools to keep up? In this ultimate game of survival, who's going to adapt next?